They want somebody that can improve customer relations. This is a big one. They want, everybody to love them as a company. Again, they're not concerned with you as an individual. They want somebody that's going to help the company. If you have fooled yourself into thinking that the hiring manager of a company is concerned about your career, guess what? It's time to wake up. They're not. They're concerned about the company because that's what's going to make them look good. If they hire somebody that can improve the company on these points, that's going to make them look good in the eyes of their boss. Solve current problems, things that they're not able to, not effectively deal with. Maybe there is a weakness with the sexual harassment issues, and they're not able to, they don't know exactly what to do. So if you have dealt with that in a company somewhere, that's the kind of thing that you want to show them, that you have solved problems and benefited the company. Streamline processes. People that can do this, they can get products created more quickly, more inexpensively, and a lot of times even increase quality and consistency. That's the kind of stuff that they're looking for. Again, for the company. In fact, every one of these issues, if you read through these issues right here, can you pick one out that says me, me, me? No. They don't care about you. They care about the company. Every single one of these deals directly with what you could potentially do for the company. So if you can address these problems, if you can show and demonstrate in your resume that you were able to increase profits for another company, or reduce workers' workload, or solve some problems, or streamline processes, if you can demonstrate that, then you're the one that they're looking for. Don't write your resume to make yourself look important. I see that all the time. People want to look big. Maybe they want to impress their friends. That's not the job of your resume. If you want to impress your friends because you got all kinds of credentials, I even did this one time. I was fairly young. I was in my mid-20s, and I was getting ready to put together a resume, and I did not know not a tenth of what I know now about the real world. But I had a lot of experience. Back then I was in my mid-20s, but still I had a lot of real technical experience. And so what did I do? I was getting ready to get a new job, and I put together a resume, and I threw in all my credentials. I had, back then it was still, the techie stuff was still pretty new. So I threw in everything I could to make myself look really big and important. And what did that get me? Not much of nothing. Don't write your resume to get a higher paying job. If you sit down and the goal that you've got is, I want to get paid as much as I possibly can, you're not going to get anywhere with your resume. That can't be your mentality. Your mentality has to be, I am creating this resume to teach these people about me so that they know what I'm capable of, what I have done, and what I can potentially do for them. If you do that, when you submit your resumes, you are then going to get interviews, and you're going to be able to pick the job that it is that you want. Instead of you going out there and hoping that somebody calls you, you're going to be selective. Now, one common, and I do mean common, problem with resumes is that they tend to stretch the truth quite a bit. Like I said earlier, they used to teach us, at least they did, in the resume classes that I went to, they'd tell us if you had any experience with anything, you put it on your resume. If you worked at some place and they some girl showed you how to use PowerPoint, or she looked over her shoulder while she did it, then you put PowerPoint on your resume. You should never do something like that. Here's the reason. How would you like it if you were to need somebody to perform a specific task? Okay, so you've got a job that you need to get done, and they put on their resume that they have experience with the application that gets that job done. So you hire them and you find out that they can't do the job. You'd be pretty upset, right? That could lead to a lot of problems. So you should never lie. I know lots of people do it, but you're not going to be one of them, okay? Showing that you have experience with something that you're really not good at, that is a lie. It's basically lying. Because you know good and well that you're not real good at it. And if they were to say, if they hired you based on that and then set you in front of a computer, for example, and said, okay, go. And you were like, I can't do the job. Okay, so if you can't do it, then you should not put that you have experience with it on your resume. If you do, if you say, you stretch the truth a little bit or out and out lie, which is really what it is, then you get hired, something comes up, and they see that you can't actually do the job. You could lose that job. That's not going to look good on your resume, right? You could get sued because you misrepresented yourself. So don't ever misrepresent yourself. Again, the goal of your resume is not to make you look like the best thing since sliced bread. It is to accurately, truthfully teach the hiring manager or the recruiter who you really are and what you're capable of doing. That way, when they look at your resume, they know, and they'll be able to sense the sincerity. If you have done what you should do, done your homework beforehand, we're going to look at that in the next slide, you will be able to address the specific needs that they have and show, here is what I am capable of doing. A lot of people, they kind of get the mentality that I can do the job. So, if they'll just hire me and put me there, I can do it. But guess what? Let's be realistic. If you really don't have out-and-out experience with it, you can't do it. Okay? And they don't have time to teach you how to do it. Here's what you got to do. If you don't have the kind of skills that you need in order to get that really good job that you really, really do want, you need to get those skills. You need to get them outside of the job. Or find a job that you can get that you can actually do and do well, and then learn the skills, get involved in it, and move up. God forbid that you would actually start at the bottom and work your way up. I know you got out of college, you should just start making $150,000 a year, right? Your first job. Guess what? That's not going to happen. So if you don't have the skills, do not misrepresent yourself. When they look at that resume, every single thing on there, you should be able to stand boldly and say, I am competent and capable of everything that is on that resume. Now, that means they might read it and they might say, doesn't have the experience that we're looking for. That's perfectly fine. Do you know how much trouble people get into by getting into a job that they're really not qualified for? It's bad news, folks. You go do stuff like that. Nowadays, you can get into a lot of trouble. How humiliating would that be to, call your grandma up and say, hey, Grandma, I got that job. And, that I asked you to pray for me. I got that job and I'm starting tomorrow. And then a week later, because it come to find out you couldn't do it, you call her up and say, hey, Grandma, can I borrow $50? I got to pay my electric bill. I don't have a job anymore. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, but they could even sue you. They could, you misrepresent yourselves in some situations, and it can get outright into a legal battle because it costs them money to hire people. It costs them money to interview people. So it's a bad, nasty thing, nasty practice. And I think it was terrible whoever started the trend of putting stuff like that on a resume. Okay, not only that, but it's just bad. Just don't do it. When you're getting ready to, before you ever even actually write the resume, right? But when you're getting ready to put something together, and I firmly believe that resumes should be written specifically for a position. You can have a general resume if you so desire, but what's more effective is one that is specific for a position and even really at a specific company. So what you should do is actually research the company. And I'm just going to be honest with you here. I'm dealing with somebody who is looking to get a career job. Okay, I'm not talking about getting a job at McDonald's, or Walmart. I'm talking about getting a real career job, meaning you have probably found a job that you absolutely love, that you really enjoy doing, something that you want to do for years to come. If that is the case, then what you do is you research the company. You find out what they've succeeded at. What have they accomplished in their industry? What are their dreams? Where are they headed? What are they looking to accomplish in the coming years? What have they failed at? You want to just, go to Google, type in the company name and look in the news. Find out if there's been some kind of release or a press release, something in the news about them, or if they might even have stuff on their own website about things that they failed at, things that they've accomplished. And then you will write about yourself, but you write it for them. So you take into account, you got the position in mind, right, that you're applying for. You take into account the things that I told you about earlier that they are looking for. You take into account what they've succeeded at, what they've failed at, where they're headed, what direction they're going. And then you're going to write about yourself, but you're going to reach into your inner being, where you've got all these years of different kinds of experiences, all these things that you could do. You're going to throw out the things that are not relevant to them. You're going to write specifically for them. Let's review very quickly. You're competing with 50,000 resumes at that job. If it's a sizable corporation, your resume has to stand out, and it has to show them that you can meet their needs. Your resume does that by teaching the hiring manager or recruiter about you and allowing them to make a true informed decision whether or not to interview you. You need to focus on their needs, not yours, not your accomplishments if they do not pertain to their needs, and you need to be 100% truthful.